coming up next, my guest is from St. Lucia. I randomly, I stalked her. That's how I met her, you know, took me 100. She is one, you know, people know I love makeup, right? And actually I'm wearing Showstopper. You can get it at the Glam if you're in Dominica. But she is a makeup artist and I absolutely loved her work. And I did a little bit of stalking and I just sent her a message and she responded and she's like, I was all in her DM. You know, girls go in girls' DMs too, eh? and she responded and her response was so positive. And you know what this show's about. It's all about people telling their story, Caribbean people mostly telling their story. We'll get a bit of other, you know, other ethnicities coming on, but my main focus is along Caribbean people. And I think as women, we have to keep elevating each other. We have to keep supporting each other. We have to keep sharing our stories so people can know, can have hope. You know, a lot of times, you know, you want to do certain things, but you're so scared because you're like, what if I fail? And what if? But I want this show to let you know that, hey, I did it and it's working. Or I did it, it didn't work, I moved on. Whatever it is, and that's what, you know, Cacoa Tea is all about. We bring you tea on people's lives, but in all that, we hope that you get a message out of it, and we hope that we can share people's stories and they can inspire you. That's what it is all about, right, guys? Yes. Big up to you, Desmond Abraham. Desmond, where are you locked in from? Oh my God. Oh, Francisca, really? Francisca said yesterday was her first time listening to this show and she was wow. Thank you, my dear. Make sure you share the link. Belle Angel is locked in. Belle Angel is literally like in the same house with me, but you know, she's here right now and she's locked in. Big up to you guys. Thanks guys for tuning in and make sure you hit that share button. We're going to be talking with LATOYA Lewis. She's a celebrity makeup artist out of St. Lucia. Very beautiful woman. You know, I love my Lucian people. You know, I've come across almost every Lucian I've come across in my lifetime. We've had a really, 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 really good relationship. And people know I'm a drifter. So, you know, it's hard for me to stay in touch with people. But they all know I love them. They all know I truly love them. And I am so glad to have, you know, St. Lucia is Dominica's sister island. We have a lot of things in common. We share common language. We share a love for the same similar kind of music, the food, you know, our Creole Day. We have so much in common. And I want, you know, I hope that she can really inspire you today because she is an artist. And a lot of times on my show, you know, I have all of these people who've spent 20 years in university. I'm not flacking nobody for spending their 20 years in university, you know, but she is an artist. And I see, you know, going home, I saw a lot of young makeup artists trying to make it, right? And she's one of those that she's doing it. And I hope that when she tells her story that you too can feel that you can do it. For the folks locked in on Facebook, I want to say good afternoon to you. Thank you so very much for joining me here. Those of you who will be eventually locked in on my website, etc., etc. You know, I wanna thank you guys. Thank you so very much for choosing to come on. Your time, taking your time and really coming on and saying, hey, Jael, I'm going to give you my time this Sunday. I want to hear somebody's story. I want to share with that person, right? Yes, she's from St. Lucia. People are asking, people are coming on, and they're going to be asking questions. But I'm going to be taking the questions in a little bit when we get her on the show. So without no further ado, I want to welcome my girl she's in the lobby. So let me just like bounce off her picture now and bring her on. She's in the lobby and she's going to be joining us right here. Asking people are coming on, and they're going to be asking questions. Give me a second. Let me just make sure that I turn off so I don't have any feedback coming in. Yeah, I'm getting feedback because I just started a watch party on Facebook. I'm getting the feedback from that. So let me just switch back and let's welcome on Cacoa Tea for the very first time, the lovely LATOYA, aka Toya Lewis.
Hello. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. You all read out your red sunglasses. You want my red mug?
Mm.
You want
My
my
red glasses, my cocoa tea, my fancy cup. I have like a fancy cup.
I love your cup.
Mm.
It's so blinged out. How it blinging so?
Yeah, I know it was actually given to me by one of my endorsers, which is Excellent Stores.
Mhm.
So these are some of the items I have home from them. They do like home goods and stuff for the skin, baby stuff. It's like a very like a variety store, so to speak.
She said one of her endorsers. Eh? So she has lots. Let me tell you, she has lots. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
and these are from Quartz Optical endorsee. So, I mean, I have to promote. I have to,
You're,
ah,
you're like, that's how I get paid.
that's how I get paid.
Yeah, that's what's up. Guys, if you're just tuning in, let us know where you're locked in. Share with us if it's your first time seeing LATOYA, hearing anything about her. We have people from St. Thomas locked in. All these different folks are coming in. If you like to follow LATOYA after the show or during the show, you probably want to Facebook stalk her or Instagram stalk her, or just go on there to see her work. You're probably going to be in St. Lucia. You probably have a wedding in St. Lucia. You probably want to get married in St. Lucia. Or probably she might travel to you. You never know. It depends on how bougie you be, right? You
No, what I mean?
all of her handles are in the box. It's either at the top of the live or at the bottom. It depends on what you're looking at. So if you're looking on your phone, it'll be different than if you're looking on a computer. You just click on there and you can follow her and see her work. She does amazing work, and we're gonna get to talk to the lovely LATOYA. I want to get straight into it, LATOYA. I know people call you Toya. Can I call you Toya? Am I allowed to call you Toya?
That's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Okay, so we're calling her Toya today. Toya, I always start my show because I like to get to know my guests and get to know who they see themselves as, right? And that's a question I ask every single guest every single time we start the show. Who is LATOYA?
Oh, I feel like that's a big question because I have multiple personalities. Is what you get on the day. That's the thing. But in essence, I am what you would call I'm super, super simple. I am a makeup artist, but I am also an entrepreneur. I dabble in different things, events, makeup, and so on. Toya is dynamic. She is very, very woman empowered. I would say that I am a go-getter. Nothing, if I want something, there's no way anything would stop me from getting that thing. But like I say, it's what you get on the day. But in essence, I am that person, all-rounded individual.
I think we got three people in that because you started first and then somebody else came in and the person
Boy,
said Toya is, and then somebody else came in and said I am. So I guess we got three people, right?
yes, today we got three people in one. Yeah, three in
Oh,
one.
cool. Toya, you were raised on the island of Saint Lucia. You live there today. What was life like growing up as a little girl in Saint Lucia?
My life was I wouldn't say easy, but it was hard in a sense that I had to basically learn how to be a woman early in my life. Learn how to work hard for whatever it is that you want. I started working pretty young. I had my first job at 11, and
Wow.
that's when I learned, yeah, I was working part-time. I used to work in like little shops and so on, summer vacations. Christmas vacations, I would always get a job, whether it be bagging groceries or something. And I really learned the essence of being independent. I had my first real job at 18. I had my first apartment at 19. So I was very, very much so independent and very strong-willed. And like I told you earlier, nothing would have gotten in the way of me achieving my goals.
Why did you have
So
why did you have
my grand
been so young?
because life was a little harder. It wasn't very easy for me growing up. I didn't have what you might call a silver spoon. And I believe my mother and my grandmother wanted me to learn the power of work and show me that you have to work hard for whatever it is that you want to achieve. Life is not very easy, so I had to work very young and start learning and creating opportunities for myself and learning and meeting people at a very young age. And as I said, I started working as soon as I left school. I started working. I graduated in July. I started working in August,
What was your
as a full-time employee of an organization. And then I had my first apartment at 19.
wow? That is not the norm for a lot of Caribbean, West Indian, small island
No,
girls. Usually,
no.
you have there's something that is set up for you whereby you have to, after you finish high school, you have to go college, then you have to go probably university. Probably after college, you might start working, but there's always something planned for you. Why did you decide that you were gonna go out and work and even get an apartment?
Like I said, it wasn't very easy. So because of, circumstances, family circumstances, not being able to afford school, I decided to go work. And when I got my first real job, this is not a part-time, this is like full-time employment. I really saw what real hard work was, waking up. I was working at a pod store at Point Surf, and this is where like the cruise ships come in.
Mhm.
So my hours were very long, coming in at 7:30 and leaving sometimes 6 in the evening, 7, and I'm 18, 19 years old. I'm now learning you have to be a woman. I had to be a woman early in life, I feel like, because of, family responsibilities and responsibilities on a whole, and not having enough to say, oh, you know what, let me not work and let me go to college. I didn't have that opportunity.
Did you feel
So
like did you feel like to a certain extent that you probably were cheated of your childhood?
yeah, I feel like that sometimes, when looking back at it. And I was telling my partner a few days ago, I tell him I did not have a childhood. So sometimes I would act out like a child, and he's like, oh, sometimes you talk like a baby, or he says I'm so fun, like I just want to do fun things. I think because I did not have a childhood, now I can afford certain things. I act out and I act like a child. So it's true. I don't take things too seriously. Maybe that's a bad thing or a good thing, but I always want to play and laugh and make jokes. And I think that comes from me not having that part of me not going through that part of my childhood. When I hear some of my friends tell me, well, so I went to college, I went to university, I was in a sorority, I met this person in school, in college. I don't know what that is. My friends from high school is what I still know. I don't have college friends. I have high school friends, and they are now married with children or whatever. But that part of my life that I felt like was important, I didn't have that. I mean,
Now,
it's good and bad, but
mhm.
I feel like me not going to, I'm not saying that education is not important, but that period where I did not attend college or I didn't have that experience, I feel like that molded me to become the businesswoman that I am today.
Mm,
Like, I have a lot of street smarts. A
mm.
lot. I have more street smarts than book smarts. I mean, it can work against you in some circumstances, but I'm now learning a lot of book smart things.
Mhm.
But that part of my life that I didn't have, it actually molded me to be very, very strong-willed and to go after anything that I wanted.
Now you decided that you wanted to become a makeup artist. Where did that come from?
Well, the store was it was like a perfumery slash cosmetic store, and they housed a lot of the premier brands at the time, which was Iman, Clarence, and some of like Burberry. Michael Kors, some of these Chanel, some of these what we call in the makeup world that those prestige brands. And at the time in the store, my boss said to me, Toya, we need the girl who was doing the makeup counter left. She resigned and they wanted somebody to take over. At that time, I had natural hair. I couldn't care less about makeup and all of that. Like, I really was not into it. And she really pushed me. I could say her name. I always say her name in interviews because she's really one of the people who really drove me to become a makeup artist. She's like, Toya, I think you should do makeup. It will be good for you. It will be good for your confidence. And it will be good for you as an individual. She was very persistent. Every day she came into the store and she was like, you need to do this. You need to do this. Until I was like, you know what? Let's just do it so you will stop asking me every single time you come in the store. Honestly, that's the story. So they sent me off to train in Barbados, because Cape Shepherd at the time was responsible for Duty Free Caribbean. So I was trained on the Cape Shepherd, and then I came back to St. Lucia with the training, and now I started to like makeup. I started to like it, and then love it. And then MAC Cosmetics came into St. Lucia. And they reached out to me and they asked me to come and work in the store. I had an interview and everything. And then I went to her because I felt like she was like a motherly figure at the time. I went to her and I told her what the opportunity was. And she told me to take it.
Wow.
She told me, yeah. And in telling me to take the job, she gave me a suitcase of makeup that she had at home with all different things, blushes, powders, foundations, lipstick. And she said, I want you to follow that passion because I see it. I want you to become a makeup artist.
Wow. Okay, now
I know.
You decide that you're gonna work for MAC, or you decide that you're going down that makeup route. What did your family have to say?
My mother wasn't too happy, to be honest. At the time when that happened, I was not speaking to my dad, if I'm being completely honest. So, but my mom wasn't too happy. She was like, why you want to do that? Like, I want you to go back to school. I want you to finish your education. Like, why would you want to go and become a makeup artist? I'm like, Mommy, I'm going to make this work. Trust me when I tell you I'm going to make this work. This is going to be good for me. It was like a battle between me and my mom. And then finally she gave up and she's like, you know what? If you're going to do it, I have no choice but to support you and I will support you. So in me working at MAC, things started to, they were good at first and then the store closed down.
Wow.
I know. And then the store closed. They closed the store because the store, I guess, they could not keep up with the other overheads that they had to pay for the store. And it was, I guess, expensive to have the store in St. Lucia. They closed. So I then had to go and look for a job. She was laughing because she's like, you see, I told you, you need to go back to school because look now, I got the lecture of my life. I started working at Carib Cable at the time. They were known for, and then they became Flow. But while working there, I was still getting little calls because people still knew I did makeup. I did it on the side, but I wasn't really treating it as a passion. I was treating it as a hobby. So I was doing it every other weekend. I'd get a little gig. I'd do people's makeup. I wasn't really taking it seriously. And then a boss of mine said to me, if you stop treating this as a hobby, it will become your main source of income.
Wow.
And then, yeah, and then I left my job. I resigned. And I just came to work and I resigned. I mean, there were other things going on, but I came to work, I resigned. And I was talking to my partner. I said to him, I resigned. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, I resigned. And then at that point, I had no choice but to make makeup work for me. And if you know the landscape of these things in St. Lucia, these are not revenue generating jobs, it's
the same in Dominica. It's not something that I guess at the time you started to, it would not. Now, because of social media, influencers, all these different things, people are getting more and more into it. But when you started, no, people would wear makeup when they go into a wedding, or people would care about
Yeah,
it when they go into a
it's
wedding.
true. They do their own thing.
Yes.
People would do their own thing. They wouldn't fuss. And at the time, when I quit my job, at that time, that was what was going on. People didn't look at a makeup artist as somebody of importance to me. I could do my own thing. Why should I pay somebody to do it? And I could, excuse me, I could do it myself. And then I decided to create a market for myself. I created a page. It was a Facebook page, and I started advertising my work. At the time, no one was doing that. I got a logo created and I started really posting my work. And then I started doing this thing called hands-on makeup classes, which was 3 years ago. I decided to do a workshop to help women learn how to do makeup. I tried all different ways to have people know my brand, let people know that Toya is here, the Glamour Art brand is here. Just being creative with the way that I bring my brand across. And that was when I really honestly struck gold when I decided to do the hands-on makeup class. My first class was 3 years, maybe 4 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And the first time I decided to do the class, I was nervous as hell because I paid for the venue. I had to get food, alcohol, sponsors, and it was a sold out event. I had 60 something women in a conference room coming to learn from me. And at that point, my boyfriend said to me, Toya, like, people are really looking up to you as like the makeup artist out of St. Lucia. And I didn't see it then at that time. I was like, man, I just said a makeup artist, you know. I still didn't see it. I still didn't see it yet until the brand started growing and growing even more. So I just started I had to create ways for people to see me, see my brand. So the classes was one of them. And my lives is another one. I started doing, I just said to myself, let me come on Instagram and do lives and show people how I do my makeup. I had no ring lights. I had no lighting. I had a lamp that I got from like a office supply shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I twisted it. I still have it. I twisted it so the light focuses on my face.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so dark. I'm doing the live and it's so dark. I didn't have a tripod. I had to put the phone on top of a box and put like towels behind it to hold the phone. I didn't have any of that at the time. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to make this work. This is going to work for me. My first live had 23 people. I will never forget that. 23. Now I house at least 350 people every Tuesday in a live.
Wow.
Now, that was last year.
This is so, so beautiful. I mean, this is truly inspirational for a lot of young girls out there who, because I find growing up in the Caribbean, sometimes you are forced to do academics and go into become the next doctor, lawyer, teacher, police officer, whatever it is. And they forget, or they don't, or I shouldn't say they forget, but they don't realize everybody's not born to be a doctor, a lawyer, or there. What happens to the artists, and what happened to the musicians, and what happened. And I find like so little emphasis is placed on that. And if you didn't have the will and the willpower and the to motivate you and to push yourself, you would not have gotten to the position that you are today. Because I'm sure you've gotten a lot of turnbacks and a lot of like, what are you doing? Like
It's so
tell us a little bit about that. Have you how much negative feedback have you received since you started your journey as a makeup artist?
I got lots of negative feedback, especially from people that knew me working. Somebody said to me, because at that time at Flow, I had moved up the ladder pretty quickly. I was the supervisor for sales and marketing for the corporate department. So at that time, I moved up the ladder in like 3 years very quickly. So everybody was telling me, Toya, why are you leaving such a good job? I was getting paid, to be honest, at that time, I was like 25. I was making good money. But I was like, why are you leaving your job to go and do makeup? How that making sense? Like, you have a stable source of income. You're going to leave that for something that you don't know whether or not it will work. but I felt like it would work for me. I felt like it would work for me. I didn't have to be honest, I did not have a plan. Usually people have plans, they put things in place, they save their money. I didn't save no money. I had no plan. I had no plan. I had saved nothing. And I was going out on a limb because I had people around me who believed in me, and I had the willpower to make this work. I honestly had no plan. But I said, I have no choice. This has to work. If it's not working, we're in problems. It have to work. It has to work
What
for
were
me.
some of your inspirations? Because you keep mentioning, the people around you, who are some of the people who inspired you?
I have lots of people who inspire me. My grandmother is one of the people that I feel like have a lot of footprints in how I am as a woman. My mother, my grandmother, they have instilled hard work in me. They taught me how to do a lot of things. I've been told by my partner and a lot of people that I'm a very good cook, and that's because of my grandmother and my mom. You know, so these
You don't do
people,
it to a man's heart, eh?
boy, if I couldn't cook, I problems in this house. If I could not cook, oh Lord, it would be over. But my grandmother and my mom, I have people who, well, recently I've gotten a lot of inspiration from people like Princess Bella, who's a St. Lucian who's doing extremely well in the industry. She's actually in the States and she's doing quite well. She's a celebrity makeup artist, but she's on YouTube. She's quite well known. She's one of my inspirations. I would have to say my partner actually is one of the people that I look up to in terms of how hard he works, for things that he wants, his goals, and, him trying to pursue his music career. He's one of the people. My aunt is another person. She's extremely hardworking. I have a lot of strong people around me now. So I would say some of these people, I mean, to be honest, I don't look at celebrities as inspirations. I look at people that I can relate to, that's close to me as an inspiration to me, and I could reflect on their work and their hard work to pursue things that I want.
What are some of
That's
the what are some of the challenges that you face in your line of work right now in St. Lucia?
respect, maybe. People respecting the craft and not treating it like it's some sort of hobby. I mean, I work,
For free nature?
yeah, exactly. And want to come and lowball your prices. I mean, everything that I have to pay for it. For example, this powder is 30 something US dollars, just this. 30 something US. You cannot lowball. If my price is there, there's a reason for my price being that way. I have to buy products. I have to buy my lights. If a light burn, I have to go get it. I have to get things done. I have to fuel the vehicle that I use. I have to pay myself and upkeep everything that I have. There's no reason why you want to lowball my price. And people believe because you have products, you could do it for free. I cannot go to the electricity services in St. Lucia and tell them that I could pay you with a foundation bottle. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I have to put up my money or else we're gonna cut the bill. Same with water and any other services we have. So I feel like the same way people respect doctors and lawyers, they need to start respecting the unconventional forms of work, like artists, makeup artists, hairdressers. These people are hardworking people. They work hard. They do a lot of things. Their hours sometimes are more grueling and longer than people who work in an office. I'm not discrediting people who go to school, get their education, and go work in an office. I'm not, or a doctor, or lawyer, or nurse, or whatever the case is. But I just would like people to respect other people who choose to go in a different path. I chose to become a makeup artist, and I treat my profession as I'm very professional. I'm very professional when it comes to my profession because I believe that I want people to respect it just the same. So that's just I feel like an issue right now that I'm having. People not seeing it as a something that's respected. You know what I mean? like a respected job. It is a respectable job. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't look good. So,
Hey.
I mean, hello. So, I'm responsible for all the likes on your Instagram page and your Facebook page because I enhanced your natural beauty. So, I mean, that's all. You see, this is a
Oh,
story
God.
where
Do you ever think of probably pursuing probably going back to school to do probably cosmetology or to get certified?
I, I am certified. Actually, during my process of, you know, pursuing makeup, and I had to get certified.
Hmm. So
I
tell us
actually did
so tell us a little bit.
accreditation. It was online. It was an online program, and I was actually certified through Mac already. But then I wanted to brush up on my to work at Mac. You have to be certified. So
Yeah.
they put you through training before the store opens. They call it one-on-one training, and then you get trained like every 3 months in working in the organization. So
Hmm.
there are different tiers to your certification: level one, level two, level three, level four, level five, level six. I think the highest level I think is
7.
or 8, if
I think
I
it's
remember clearly. Beg your pardon?
I think it's 7 if I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
yes, 7. So you always get trained every time a new product comes out, or if you want to work in a different store, if you want to specialize in something, you have to get certified to another level.
okay. So you've done training online, of course, to ensure that you perfect your craft, to put out, because everybody they always want to see a paper. She went to school for that.
Always.
They
What's wrong
always
with them?
they always want to see a paper. They want you to put it on the wall, for them to see. Now you are very, very active on social media. As you mentioned earlier, you have a live every Tuesday where you do different looks, whether it's carnival, whether it's day look, whether it's evening, if there's an event going on. And I think that is a very savvy way of promoting yourself, promoting your products, promoting your, because then it gives ideas, right? How has this actually benefited your empire?
Because of the live, my following has grown. My followers have grown. When I started my live, I was probably at 4,000 followers. I'm now up 10K, and
Mm-hmm.
that's from last year. Because of the live, I've gotten multiple endorsements from Quartz Optical. Well, now I just got one from Excellent Stores, and then I have one with Flow St. Lucia Telecoms. My
Mm-hmm.
old company gave me an endorsement. That is the funniest thing ever. But yeah, so because of the lives, I was able to get those endorsements. And because of that too, my classes have grown significantly. The last time I had a class, I had like 230 something people in the class, which was like my biggest number yet. Yeah. So because of that, and just my the popularity of the live has grown. Like I said, I started from 23 to 3 something. Tuesday we had 370
Wow.
people in the line,
Yeah,
so that
for a little bit. I don't know if you saw when I hopped on. I was on for a
oh,
bit.
I didn't see, I did
You
not.
were doing when I hopped on. You were actually doing, that green that was on the. That's where
Oh,
you.
the glitter, yeah.
That's where you. And then you were saying, I have to put something in the corner to make it pop. That when I hopped on, that was exactly what was going on. I do from
Me,
time to time. Hop on,
sounds like
hop
me.
on.
Also, I was able to secure some relationships. I get products now from different people, different brands. Actually, Black Up Cosmetics sends me a lot of stuff from
Mhm.
them. I get a lot of lashes, glitter, palettes. People send me stuff to do reviews, hair, clothes, so I've been able to open different doors and build relationships with people. So I honestly believe it's because of my engagements on social media and the live. These
How,
two things.
how how is it doing a live and talking to all of these? Because somebody might, all of these, they're strangers. I mean, there may be one, two, three of your friends on there, but for the most part, they're strange because I've looked at you and you go close up. You're so close up and you're looking. I can see when you're reading the comments while you're doing makeup and you're interacting with people and stuff. What is it like?
It's very hard because for me, I try to create a certain vibe for my life. So it's not just me coming plain old Jane. And I always most times I have a preset theme or a look that I want for the end of the live. So right now I'm doing like a carnival edition lives based on carnival sections in bands and bands on a whole. So now it's only carnival looks I will be doing till like May. Before that, it was like Christmas. It would be inspired by a celebrity, or maybe it will be inspired by something that's trending right now. So I always try to make sure that my lives are interesting. I don't just come and do anything that I think of. I try to make sure that it's interesting so people don't get bored. It's difficult because sometimes people are talking and like I'm scrolling and I get lost in the comments. I'm doing my I'm doing my browse and then I get lost in the comments and then I'm like, okay, Toya, you need to focus because Instagram only gives you 45 minutes. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to use those 45 minutes
Oh
very,
yes,
very well,
I saw that
efficiently.
too when it was ending, and you're like, it's going to end in like 29 seconds.
I know, and then I have to come back. Oh,
I was there. I was
it
there
is
with you.
a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. But to be honest with you, every single person that comes in the live is not a friend, but I feel like they're a supporter because if they weren't supporting you, they would not come. I mean, they have some people in there that are just being nosy, to be honest,
They
but
want
they
to
have some people that come in there and they want to see what you're doing. Nothing will stop them from coming on that live every Tuesday. I mean, they have some people that I didn't know before that. Now I'm very well cool with that always messaging me in my DMs. Girls that see me on the street and like, Toya, I'm so and so from your live. I'm like, hi, and then we have a conversation based on that. I can't wait to see what look you do this Tuesday, that sort of conversation. But
hmm
I've developed relationships because of that live. So I'm very thankful for it. I'm thankful that it has grown in such a big way. People ask me to do looks for them to help their business, to do
Well,
a look on
it's
the
funny
Tuesday. Like,
you're saying that, but my sister just hopped on and she goes, I want a live. Like, where is the
tell
tutorial?
her coming live. Tell her coming live on Tuesday. We're live on Tuesday.
You gotta hop in. You gotta hop in that live.
Live. You
You're
gotta open live.
the looks you create are always so beautiful, always so clean,
You.
always so fresh, and so vibrant. I love the way you mix the colors and you take a little piece of each color and you put it into your art. You are also a carnival lover, right? Because you mentioned you're doing carnival looks at carnival, not carnival not going on now, but she doing carnival looks until tell us a little bit about your carnival journey and how you've incorporated that with your makeup.
I was part of a band several years ago called Red Unlimited, and I was a lover of carnival for a very long time. My family was involved in carnival. My father, my aunts was involved in carnival, and I got the opportunity to be part of a band, and I then became a section leader in that band, and the love for carnival grew then. And then a friend of ours started a band called Zubo. And then he came to me and he was like, Toya, we would like you to join the band. We want to brand a section, Glamour Art. We want you to be a section. We want you to be a part of the overall success of the band. I was like, oh, yes. Like there was no pause or let me think, or we were down for the cause from the time I met him. So that part of loving carnival is now incorporated in business. And I'm very excited for the relationship that I have with Zubo. I love my costume. I love my section. I think I did a live for that section last
That's
week.
it. Yes.
Yeah, the white. I
The one
know it's so
was,
angelic. I
and
love it. I
you
love
can
it.
see how it's sold out. It's like what like
It's
like
close. That section sold out in like that. It was crazy to me. I've never seen that in St. Lucia Carnival. It sold out so quickly, you know? And it just goes to show that Lucians love, people love carnival in general, but the carnival is growing. It's
Mhm.
growing, especially in St. Lucia, it's becoming big, bigger and bigger, bigger than it's ever been, which is why some of the bands and the sections are closing so quickly. But in terms of my love for carnival, I try to incorporate it in every carnival look, or even in every look, because glitters and so on is not typically part of a or part of a look that you would do.
Every
You
day.
wouldn't put glitter to go to work. You wouldn't put the glitter to go to a wedding on your eyes. But now, because of carnival and colors and living in the Caribbean and all of that, we include glitter in our looks. So it has influenced a lot of the looks that I do on my life. I try to incorporate glitter or color. I think the picture that I sent you had some yellow,
That was
sunflowery
so
kind of.
pretty. And you
Thank
put
you.
some sunflowers in it. I was like, ooh, because when you sent me the pictures, you sent me two, and you're like, you could pick one, and I'm like, I'm picking the yellow. I'm picking the
The
yellow.
sunflower look is
Yeah,
one of my favorite looks to date. I loved that look. It was so, so, so good. It was like different and it was so simple.
one of
So
these days you're
simple.
gonna have to do that on me
I know, right?
when I come to Saint
I
Lucia.
know.
One of these days,
I know. I'm excited. I
and make
can't wait.
and make me pop.
Yeah. I have to. I have to.
So you've incorporated that with business. You're section leader. You have a brand that sells. Of course, you've branded the entire band your brand. So people, you're out there. People know who you are. How do you balance your personal and your professional life? Because it seems like you're doing so much. You have your nose in everything. How do you balance it?
Um, boy, I have a know. To be honest with you, I try to make sure that I stay grounded. You could get consumed with so much and be so busy, you forget, hey, I have to spend time with my partner. I have to make sure my household is in check. I have to make sure that everything at home is good.
You
So
cook.
sometimes you just have to take a step back. My mom started telling me take off days, which I have not started doing, but I try not to take too many clients.
Okay.
So just to balance out the time, like today was a home day, you know. So I try to balance the time properly because these things are important. You work, 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 work. You never get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You never get to enjoy it with the people you love. And then what? You have no memories. And memories are very important. You could live and work and not create memories, and then it's just a waste. So I try my very best to spend time, do things, that add value and create memories and not work too much. Not work too much, eh? Work a lot, but not too much.
What sort of things do you do for fun? Because you're already doing something that you love. Just sounds like so much fun. What other things you do for fun?
I like going to the movies, actually enjoy it. I like to cook. So I like looking for recipes online. I'm always on Pinterest. I'm a very boring person, to be honest. I don't party a lot. I like to be home. I've developed a love for gardening recently. So I go in a garden. I have a little garden, an herb garden. Well, it's not more than just herbs, but I've developed a love for. Imagine it's raining today, and when this morning, the first thing I said, I'm so happy for the weather. My plants are very happy. You know,
You grinding up on us, man.
I'm granny up on them, boy. Let me tell you, staying home and being a granny. But these are the things that I honestly love to do. Binge on shows. Well, now binge on shows, cook, and I love going out to eat. I love going out to eat. That's a bad quality, but I love trying different things and just eating out.
Wow.
I'm a bit of a boring person though.
Guys, if you're just locking in right now, we're talking to LATOYA Lewis, makeup artist out of St. Lucia. If you need to follow her, all her social media handles are either at the top or the bottom of the broadcast. So it's inserted in the broadcast. You could just click on it. You follow her on Twitter. That's Toya's Toya Soka Instagram. That's Grammar Art by Toya, as well as Facebook. So if you'd like to follow her, also we're coming to the part where you can ask questions. So if you have any questions for her, of course I screen the questions, so not, you're not gonna be able to ask any question. You know, like if she's single or not. But we're we're coming to the part, so you can go ahead and shoot your questions if you have questions now. I'll go through them while we speak, and we can ask her and get to know a little bit more about her. No, she's not single. For those of you guys, somebody DM'd me, like in a DM. Yes, girl. Someone,
Wow.
is she single? No, she is
No,
not.
I'm
She's
very
not.
taken.
She's very much taken. She's very much taken.
Very, 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 very taken.
Why you say it like that?
Because that's my man crush. Hello. Ain't no way. Hello.
She's very taken, eh? She is very taken. Toya, I want to know, what would you say to any young girl whose family cannot support her dream or will not
Go
support?
after it. Go after it, and they will be the ones coming to you after. Because that's what happened to me. You know, you don't get the full support of the people that you want to get it from. And then you do well and you execute, and they're coming to you. Toya, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Blah blah blah. Do it. Just go. I know it's easier said than done, but just put your mind to it and do it. I just got a girl messaged me and she asked me like, I want to start makeup. Like, how did you start? Like, I said to her, buy the essentials and start posting your work. People will not hire you. They don't know what you could do. So start posting your work. Tell your friends, come over and do makeup on them. Take a picture outside. If you don't have a ring light, do it during the day and take a picture outside in the sunlight and post your pictures. People need to see your work. You need to get out there because everybody's on social media now. They're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they're on Twitter. They want to see. Visuals are important, especially in makeup. So go after your dreams and work on your dreams. Don't just sit there and be like, I want to become a makeup artist, but not do nothing to achieve that goal. Not go out there and try to get closer to that goal every day. Every other month, buy a foundation, buy a powder, start building your kit. You have to start from, like, you have to start small. You can't start big and expect, oh my God, let me start huge and then everything will be great. No, start small and you will grow.
And that's it. That's the bottom line.
Honestly, that's what it is.
A few people are saying, commenting, I'm going to be going back and forth because I have a watch party as well as this. So Curvel, Honorary David says, sometimes God, let me just put that up. She says, sometimes God puts you in places where you realize your passion. God bless all the people who came around to help you reach your goals. So that's Curvel saying that. Francisca, who's been on her second time coming on my live, she says yes, she loves gardening just like you. I'm gonna switch over to to the Facebook watch party. Sheena Warrington says, I love the looks you create, LATOYA Lewis. I don't know if you know her. She sounds like she knows you.
Thank you so much. Appreciated.
Nyla is saying, hi, Jael and LATOYA. It sounds like she knows you too. Let me just go back and forth. I want to try and get as many people as I can. All right, people are asking for your social. Okay, I did say where your social media handles. You could follow her. That's Toya Soka. Why Toya Soka?
I used to do music. I used to sing. Oh, that story never came. Oh Lord. I used to be a soca artist back in the day. And I just kept Toya Soka. As my Twitter name. I never changed it.
So you're gonna drop something for us?
Boy, not right now. The voice is not good right now. It's not good.
All of a sudden,
I used to do music. I was a soca artist for several years. I competed in Groovy Monarch 3 or 4 times, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 times. I was heavily into music. I worked at Precision Productions, Lebo, Miguel from Vibes Productions. I mean, I was deep in soca, well, in St. Lucia, but God had another plan for me, man. I still love music, but I'm not going to pursue it. I woke up and, after, seeing what my real passion is. I mean, God can bless you with a lot of different abilities and a lot of different gifts, but sometimes one, you need to maybe focus on one. I'm not saying that I cannot do others, but I feel like the makeup is the soul. It's the mother hen. There are other
Mhm.
things.
Tell us some of the celebrities you've worked with.
I've worked with Bernice Burgos. Um, I've worked with Patrice Roberts. Well, every time she comes here, I do her makeup. I've worked with this girl. She got married to DJ. He was on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I did his fiance's makeup. They got married in St. Lucia. I was almost going to do Kenya Moore's makeup, but she didn't let me because she brought in her makeup artist, Kenya Moore from Housewives of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I try to, a lot of the people that I've done, they're international and also a lot of regional people.
How do you
Yeah.
get those connections? Like how did those connections happen?
Um, I think a lot of them will Google. The Bernice Burgos job was actually given to me by a team called Verve. They do events here, and they brought her to St. Lucia,
Okay.
and I did her makeup. I did an actress makeup, but I forgot her name. She's like a redhead. She got married at Cap Maison in St. Lucia. It was just she and her husband.
Mm-hmm.
But I forgot her name. I have to go Google her again.
So people literally just Google you and they find you.
I think they Google St. Lucia makeup artist and my profile comes up. I think that's what it is. Or
Mm.
makeup artist in St. Lucia. I
Have
think that's what they type and my profile comes up.
have you Googled yourself?
I have never.
You should try it.
You're tempting me. I probably will do it after. I've never done it for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Somebody asked me that once. They're like, Jill, have you ever Googled yourself? And I'm like, no. I'm like, who does that?
I don't know. I would never think to do that. I don't know why, but I will.
Google yourself and see what comes up.
Anybody.
Because I'm in school right now. I'm studying journalism, and as a journalist, we have to know how to like stalk people, like how to get stories, to get information. If you're producing a show, and stuff like that, we have to know how to be able to get a hold of people, and not only that, but we also have to be able to fact check. So if somebody says something, we have to make sure that what they're saying is true. So I've learned the way, like I could tell you who you like their pictures, who you like. If I need to, I could stop
Wow.
the shit out of you. Yes.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
what you learn, and little tools, free tools, online tools that you can use to get to know what people are doing, who they're following, who they're liking a lot, who what sites they visit, all of this, all of these.
You're tempting me. I'm gonna go do this after we're done.
So Google yourself.
Oh my God, I'm so nervous to see what comes up. Oh Lord, I wonder what people are thinking.
You should, because I say all of this to say you're heavy on social media, and what you put out there, your prints, your media prints, they remain there forever. They don't ever go away. As much as you might post something and say, "Oh shoot, let me delete that," it's still there. It's still there, right? So it'll be interesting for you to see how people see you from that angle, because you are building a brand, so you want to see exactly what you have,
You're very right.
what people are seeing, right? Because it might not 10 years down the road, you might say, I'm going up for St. Lucia, I'm going for politics, I'm running for election.
I don't see that happening, and I don't see myself being a first lady. But anyway,
What's next for Toya?
I'm launching my lash line in 3 weeks. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm launching my lash line.
Bam.
Honey.
Huh?
Okay. Good night. Um,
In your face. What's it called?
it's called Glam Lash.
Mm,
Glam Lash or Glamour Art. Glam Lash by Toya. I'm going to actually drop the logo tomorrow on my Insta page so people could see and get familiar and start liking the page. And I'm also going to start showing the different lashes that I'm going to be offering. And then I'm going to officially launch it. I'm actually in talks with a drugstore locally to have it in the store selling as like an item in their store. So I don't have to do any deliveries. You walk into the store like you would pick up a deodorant and you pick up a lash from Toya. Simple as that.
ooh, yes. Girl, have a
Yeah, so we have some, and then I have a few other things that I will be launching soon. This year, I'm celebrating 10 years as a makeup artist.
wow.
My 10th anniversary. When I launched my logo 10 years ago. So this year I'm trying to do this big class. I was looking at May, but I couldn't get the person. I wanted to bring in a celebrity. She wasn't available, so I have to work with her dates. So I'm gonna push it back a bit, but I'm doing this big celebration of my 10th anniversary. Maybe sometime in August, if not, maybe September. But yes, I'm celebrating 10 years as an MUA, so I'm launching a whole bunch of different things.
Congratulations to you. Congratulations to
Thank you.
and making it happen.
Thank you.
I have a question out of the normal. Whenever you post your picture, you always make your moles pop. How do you do that?
I actually don't do anything to it. I have four, I honestly have 4 moles above my lip, and
Mm-hmm.
I just take a little bit of liner and I just, I just add some
I
more
always
and just
wonder,
bring
like,
it up.
how the hell her moles look like they look like you.
I, I have like this. It's like very, very pointy, and I dip it in the liner and I actually go over it
Mm,
after I'm done with my makeup.
so it doesn't look like
Yeah, because when I put the foundation, it disappears. It
yeah.
disappears.
And you see, that's the funny thing. I have not just moles, I have like skin tags too, which I probably should get removed. Because they're starting to get stuck in like my towel and it actually becomes painful. Yeah. Yeah, they get
Ooh.
the ones there. When I had my first son, they came out and then they dropped. My second son, they came out and I thought they were gonna drop, but they've not dropped. I had them all on my neck, like you could probably see them, but
I know, but mine are very small.
but the actual ones that don't grow, I like to see them pop, because I think they're like, I'm like, they're like my, they give my face character.
I
So
agree
I
completely.
always
I love to
wonder
see
what you
them.
did to get yours to pop. But now you told me the
Just
trick.
liner. Just
I,
liner. Because when I put the foundation, they disappear and I have a lot above my lip. So I just
they
enhance them a bit with some
make them,
liner.
makes them pop. So it's been so wonderful having you here
Thank
on
you so
the
much.
show. I'm going to let's see if anybody have any questions. Let's
Any
see.
more questions?
Lash line. Well, love the 3D. Oh, I think people are looking at your stuff as we talk.
Oh,
People are looking at
oh.
so they're commenting, and I don't even know what they're commenting about because I not seeing what you're seeing. So they're commenting on your stuff. They're commenting here on your stuff that they've seen on your social media. Um, um,
Oh, wow.
so I don't know if you want after you could probably go in the live and you could probably if you want to communicate. Sometimes people do that. They speak with people. They answer questions that people have asked. People didn't seem to have a lot of questions this time around. Jennifer Joseph says, "Great stuff." Um, Somebody's asking where in St. Lucia are you from? Um,
I'm originally from Dennery, but I grew up in Redwy, which is like in the north of the island.
that's where
Yeah.
the so Moto.
Yes, girl.
That's where your genre is from. Like that's where
Denny segments.
Mhm.
True.
Yeah,
True.
that's so cool. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure having you here on the show
Thank you for
with
having me.
to tell talk to us about your passion, what you're doing, and what's next. And I commend you on continuing to push through. A few years ago, I was probably in the same place as you because um, I was pushed. Actually, Carlene was the one. Carlene Purcell. I think I mentioned to you this
I
was
love her. I
she
love
was the
her.
one who actually pushed me to go into cosmetology. So I became an esthetician years ago, like back in the early 2000s. I became an esthetician, and I branched out because, as I say, I drift. I branched out into different things. I was mostly focused on massage therapy, and I also they call me the thread queen and the wax queen. When it comes to threading, I can thread the shit out of you, right? and waxing like Brazilians and those things. Those are my thing, right? But I've since left that. I did a lot of training with the schools back home and stuff. I don't actively work in that line in that field anymore. But it's funny. I remember when I decided that I was going to do that, and I told my father. My father didn't talk to me for 4 years. He says to
Wow.
and I said, I'm going to become an esthetician. He goes, an esthetician what? I said, I'm going to become an esthetician. He says, what does that entail? Now, at the time, becoming an esthetician there was not a heavy emphasis placed on makeup because at the time, makeup wasn't a thing per se. I mean, makeup was just for enhancing. People didn't spend a whole 15 minutes putting on their eyebrows, right? It was not about that. I I said to him, oh, it's going to be like manicures and pedicures and waxing and facials and massage. And then I'm going to do the medical aspect of it where I could do Botox and Restylane and all these different things. And he goes, you're going to clean people's foot? So I want he's sewn in. May his soul rest in peace. He eventually came to terms with it and did not care, because I guess he understood, what it was all about and that it was my hustle, And even doing radio, I've done radio and still done massages side by side. I remember being in Dominica on radio and I interviewed Jack here, and while we were interviewing he found out that I was a massage therapist and he's like, I need a massage. Get him to sign to me. So it's like I ended up
Wow.
Jack here and a few other celebrities and stuff. So it's like, okay, like you can make a living. I always comment people, when you can use your hand, you will never go hungry. You will
Never.
never
Never.
ever be hungry once you can use your hand. And I always encourage
It's
people
true.
to do something with your hands, because if you can do something with your hands, that's it. You will pick a gem,
It's true.
right? You'll never be hungry. And I must commend you for on pursuing it. It was something that fell on your lap when you were having a tough time, during a tough time in your life, yet you still didn't say, I think I'm gonna stay by what was flow at the time. It was not flow, but I'm gonna stay there because I'm guaranteed a paycheck. You ran with your passion, and your passion has flourished. And I commend you on your lashes, your 10th year anniversary. Happy 10th year anniversary. I hope you get everything that you ever wish for, especially when you celebrate, whenever you decide to celebrate. But I hope a lot of people show up and really really support you and your dream, and hopefully that this whole people's mentality of not wanting to pay for services like that, hopefully it will change soon. I think more and more when makeup artists are becoming so much more involved as influencers, that people give respect you so much as an influencer.
Yeah.
And I must
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. This was so fun.
yes, we'll do it again. Hopefully we can come live again another time.
Yes.
I mean, when you launch your makeup line, putting it out, putting it
Yes,
out.
honey. Yes, put it out in the universe.
Yes, and kudos to you. All the best to you, and
Thank
keep doing what
you.
you do, and continue to touch the lives of young people. Continue to make people beautiful, and continue to enhance people's natural beauty. Whatever you continue to do, but continue to do you, and
Thank you.
all
I
the best.
appreciate it. Thanks for having me so much. Appreciate it.
You're
All
welcome.
the best to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks to all of those of you who tuned in from near and far. Remember to share the live. All you have, I have to, it's like all you like little children. Every week I have to tell you.